Welcome to the penultimate episode of the Barclays FA Women's Super League, the warm-up. And with one round of fixtures to go, the title race and the relegation battle have gone down to the wire. Yeah, that's right, there's so much to cram in, so sit back, relax, put the kettle on and let's get cracking. Last week we heard the massive news that legend Fara will be hanging up her boots at the end of the season, so it's only right that we came to Reading to see her this week. Yes, England's most capped player with a career that spans over 20 years. 2 WSL titles, 2 FA Cups, and to be honest with you, my words just don't do it justice. Take a look at this.
And that is a quite brilliant strike from Fara Williams.
Fara Williams, oh, it's spectacular!
Fara Williams does that.
Fara Williams!
Extraordinary!
And it is in the back of the net!
Fara, welcome to the show. So this is your last ever week playing professional football. How does that feel?
Do you know what? I don't even know, because I actually haven't thought about it like that. I'm somebody that if I overthink something, I find it difficult, so yeah, I pretty much haven't thought about it being my last week, although every time I come in, the girls remind me. Yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy my last moments in training. It's been all right, but I haven't, as I say, I haven't thought about it being the last week.
And you obviously announced the decision last week. When did you decide it was going to be your final season?
I knew over a year ago. I knew that in the pre-season, or when I got injured of last year before lockdown, I was considering retiring then, but the injury made me want to fight back and go again. So then I tried to come back from an injury and then I got ill. And then I was like, right, I've got to try and fight back from that. So I've known for a while, but just accepting it, I think, you know, football's been my life forever. It's given me everything and I've given everything to football. So to kind of accept that you're coming to an end of it, that was hard. So just admitting it and accepting it myself was probably the hardest part, but knowing it probably a year ago.
Yeah, well, and the reaction online, by the way, I've never seen anything like it. Did you expect that?
I didn't expect, no, it was not, I mean, you probably know what it's like, you've both played yourself. When you're in football, it's very hard for people to compliment you when you're playing. And then normally it's the people, when you retire, people will come out and say, you know, what you've done for the game and what type of player you were. So, yeah, I was overwhelmed with the messages, the phone calls, texts, etc., with what people had to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was like scrolling through Instagram. I was welling up, you know.
Oh,
a few times I caught myself welling up. When you seen the video, I was like, yeah.
You know what, right? When it got announced, Kelly, obviously, I knew that Kelly was doing a comment, and so I'm thinking a comment, like 2 lines, you know, someone says, oh, you might. And so then I went to, like, Leah read it, so my partner, she read it first, she's like, reading this thing, she started crying. I'm like, no.
Leah crying?
Exactly. So she's like, so then I'm like, well, can I read it? And she was like, no, wait till you get home. So I couldn't read it, and then I got home, and obviously I got emotional with that, yeah.
Are you like that then as a person? Like, are you openly quite emotional about stuff, or you would rather just go home and deal with that sort of emotion there?
Yeah, I don't like people to see that I'm weak, but
it's not weak.
It feels it. It feels it. I think throughout my career, I've tried to be somebody that has put this kind of wall barrier mask to show that you're tough, thick-skinned. But yeah, things do get to me. I think this has been an emotional week or couple of weeks, I'm sure. I said to Leah, once Monday comes, we've got last day here on Monday, I said, I need a day on my own where I could just cry in the house, I think. So you go to work and don't come home for the night. I know on Sunday, probably after the game, even now thinking about it, I'm getting a bit emotional with it, but it is what it is.
If we could give you a cuddle, we would. Your last home game last weekend, how special was that send-off from Reading?
Yeah, unbelievable. I wasn't expecting it. Tash started it, so it was in just before he was about to go out. Tash called a huddle inside the changing room, and she did an unbelievable speech that I actually thought she was reading off something. Every single player in that changing room was crying before he was about to go out, and then she handed me the armband. Being the vice captain, she said that the team wanted me to lead the girls out. And I was like, no, I can't. And then I got the armband and it had 172 and a legend, and I thought, you're not a legend, so I've got to wear it. I'm only joking. So then I took it and I was like, okay, cool. We had to gather ourselves because literally everybody was crying. The referee's like, come on, out you come. So I go out, and obviously I'm the captain, right? So you lead the team out. So as I'm walking, she's like, no, you go to the back. So I was like, oh, they're being so sweet. Like, I always go out to the back, so they're not changing anything. Yeah, you can still be the captain. And then I go to walk up the stairs and they push me back down the stairs. Hang on, and then, oh mate, when I tell you I was up and down, and our assistant coach said he'd never seen me so vulnerable. I was like, yeah, nervous. a tune come on and I'm like, oh, this is a tune. Like, so in my head, I'm singing this tune. And then obviously there was like, you can come out, walked. I can't even remember what the song was. And then at the end of the game, he was like, oh, did you hear the music? And I was like, no, what music? And then she told me, I was like, oh my God, I did hear it. I was singing to it in the bar, that walk, I forgot about it. So the tune was a tune that Leah chose for me, like the detail on the frame of the shirt, the detail on the bottle. So every fine detail that Reading did was unbelievable and not expected, but yeah, it made me really emotional.
Yeah, and what are you going to miss most about football?
The banter that I bring. That I bring, yeah. No, you know what, I think, look, I can always go and train. I think that you can't beat, I mean, you know yourself, like the banter that you get within the pitch, winding people up, being wound up yourself. I think that more than anything.
Do you almost feel, Farah, now that you're going to have to go through, I don't want to say grieving process, but some sort of process to digest everything you've done to then move forward?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I just know that football will always be a part of me, and whether that be I do some media stuff if there's opportunities to do something within the media. Talking, teaching football, playing football is all I've ever wanted to do. I mean, anybody that talks to me, I can talk on for hours about football and bore the hell out of them. So if anyone wants to listen, I'm open to doing that. I think going forward, football has to be there in whatever capacity that is. I'm open to whatever's coming my way.
Woman of many talents, hearing this.
Only for one
watching
talent.
this. She's up for grabs, but not this show. Not this show. Any other show apart from this.
We can see you in the middle here. We can see her in the middle here.
Got to make it work. But right, I've got to talk about it because it was unbelievable. That dink, by the way, at the weekend. The pen. Which one? The pen. Right, by the way, what if you missed that? Surely you would have been gutted.
You know what? I said to the girls after the game, because I either dreamt it or I thought I spoke to somebody about it, that in the last two games he was going to get a penalty and I was always going to dink it. So I must have dreamt it, because when I said to the girls, I told you that last week that I was going to dink a penalty in the last two games, they was like, you didn't tell me. So I dreamt it.
So let's fast forward then to this weekend, Chelsea. You've chosen an easy one to go out to.
Exactly.
Talk to us about that one.
It's hard. Chelsea's where I started a big chunk of my career as a youngster. The team I support, but they're a fantastic team. I mean, they're unbelievable. It's going to be a difficult game for us. The Christmas result was disappointing, so the girls want to bounce back from that and show that that was a one-off game and that we are better than what we delivered on that day.
Right, looking back at your career then, obviously you are the most capped England player and you've achieved so much over the years, but what is your career highlight?
My international career highlight will always be my debut. I think you can never replace putting the shirt on for the first time. At my home debut, the away debut was away to Portugal. I got to come on as a sub, but when we played them at home the following week, it was at Pompey. So I had all the lads off the estate, family. I actually scored on my home debut, so that was one that stuck out for me. And pretty much not long after that, I realised actually if I want to be a footballer for England, I need to take football a little bit more serious than I did. I was a bit of a wild kid from the estate where, yeah, as I say, when I used to go away, it was like a holiday. That's how I treated it. I'm out off the estate in a hotel, people feeding me. So yeah, I had to take it serious after that. So that one was the one that really made me start to take football serious. My club highlights: winning the league with Liverpool. I always wanted to win the league. I thought if you was a team that won the league, it showed that you were consistent throughout. And then the FA Cup probably with Arsenal at Wembley. The day was one that I'll always remember.
See, one that stuck out for me personally is when you scored from kick-off. I think that's the one that...
Which one?
I must be up there. Mate, there's so many. Every time I say something, you're like, which one? Yeah, but that basically won you the league too, right? So.
Do you know what? It kept us in the race for the league. Yeah, I preferred the one against Arsenal from the halfway line for Reading in the Conti Cup. The Liverpool one was special in terms of it getting us the 3 points that kept us in the title race. That was a good one. I like my volley against Liverpool for Reading. I've scored a few for Reading, actually.
Yeah, there's too many to list.
Only for Reading, though, for some reason.
Look, we spoke a little bit previously about maybe the aspirations moving forward. We can imagine that there'll be a queue of people hoping to be coached by you one day. Are there any aspirations to potentially become England manager one day?
Yeah, I think when I played for England and under Hope and Mo and what they achieved, they were my role models. They were two coaches that made me really think about coaching in football. And yeah, I do want to manage England one day. I'm not ready anytime soon to do that. I'm not ready to manage any team anytime soon, but I'll weigh up my options. I'm not in a rush to do anything just yet, but I certainly want to be coaching.
Right, there's more from Fara later on in the show, but let's take a look at this weekend's fixtures. Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Burnham City take on Spurs. Brighton against Bristol City. Chelsea versus Reading,
Manchester United against Everton.
and West Ham versus Manchester City. Yes, Farah, what a last day we've got in store. You know a little bit about last-minute drama at the end of the season. Didn't you win both WSL titles on the last day?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, both of my titles are Liverpool. We won our first title last game of the season against Bristol, and it was out of us on Bristol to win it. And actually, the second title, we were pretty much out of the race. We was in third, and it was out of Chelsea and Birmingham to win. And one of the trophies was at Manchester, in case Chelsea won, and one was at Birmingham, in case Birmingham won. And Birmingham actually drew, and Man City scored Tony Duggan's goal, literally. And then the trophy, we had no trophy at Liverpool, and we won our game and finished and won the league. So anything can happen, and I'm sure Chelsea won't want to, or won't allow for that last game of the season, you know, the memories that they had when they lost it on the very last day. So I'm sure through those experiences, Emma Hayes will have them well equipped to, you know, to go into this game against us, you know, with the right mindset to win that game. But I could play a part in them not doing that.
I know, yeah, exactly. So as you said, two great sides, and Reading can play a part in obviously who ends up with the title in the end. But what a season it's been so far. Like, how would you summarise it?
It's been a great season, probably the most competitive at the very top, in terms of how Man City and Chelsea have pushed each other to new levels. I think playing against both of those teams, you could see how much better they are than other teams within our league. It's been really competitive, and you look how close to the bottom of the league. You know, going into that final day, anything can happen, and, you know, 3 teams potentially could go down. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see the competitiveness at the bottom and at the top, and everything's going to happen on the last day of the season.
Yeah, see, I remember when we interviewed you at the start of the season, I'm pretty sure you called Chelsea were going to win.
Yeah, you did.
You called it,
did.
yeah. And they've had an amazing season, so, and reaching the Champions League final as well, of course. What an achievement that is, right?
Unbelievable. I mean, I read, you know, I'm the first female manager in over, 12 years to do that. She's really built a resilient Chelsea team or squad that have enabled them to go on and be in 4 competitions. You know, final day of the season, they won the cup, they're still in the FA Cup. The mindset that they have is certainly stronger, I believe, than I've ever seen a Chelsea team before.
So it will be Man City trying to pip Chelsea for the title. So let's hear from them. A little bit earlier, we caught up with Esme Morgan.
Here's another one, not dealt with, and there's an opportunity. And Esme Morgan, the youngster, getting her first ever goal in senior football. A moment that Esme Morgan will remember for a long, long time.
Esme, first up, welcome to the show. Second up, welcome to the show, Esme Morgan, the goal scorer.
Hey!
Congratulations on your first goal. How did that feel when that went in?
Thank you very much. It was very surreal, to be honest, and well, at the time I thought it went in slow motion, but when I watched it back, it actually did go in slow motion because I literally trickled it in. But I was so happy. Like, you can probably tell from my face on like the camera and all the pictures and stuff, I was literally didn't even know what to do with myself. One of the staff at City had told me to do like a certain celebration when I scored my first goal, but I just did not remember it all.
It was all a blur,
Yeah.
You're literally City through and through, aren't you? How many years have you been there now?
This is like my 5th year. I joined in the academy, and then after a first season I went up to the first team, but I've been watching them my whole life. I saw a tweet the other day that said I had 2 choices when I was born, either support City or be put up for adoption, and I thought that is literally me.
Well, you made a good choice. But look, an England call-up, first senior goal. It's been quite the season for you personally, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've probably not really taken it all in, to be fair, and it'll only be once it's all over at the end and I've got time to reflect on everything that it'll sink in properly. But getting called up to the seniors was such an amazing surprise, and as you say, getting my first goal is another sort of milestone that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, was right. So here it is then. The title race has gone down to the final day. It is out of your hands, but how do you approach Sunday?
I think we know that we've just got to score as many goals as possible, just on the off chance that Chelsea drop points. And you never know, teams like Reading are so difficult to play against on the day, so hopefully they'll be able to pull off a bit of a favour for us. But we just know that we need to do our job and win by as many goals as we possibly can to hopefully take advantage of it and win if they do slip up.
Love that, love that. And what's the chat been around camp? How's Gareth keeping you guys focused?
I think it's just saying exactly that, like, it's not over yet, we're still in with a chance. And in our gym, we've got a massive picture of Aguero celebrating scoring that goal in the last minute. So it's a bit of a reminder every day that it's not over until the final whistle of the season. So we just got to believe until the end, I suppose.
Right, so Esme, were you around when City last won the title? Do you remember the scenes?
Yeah, I was actually at the game and probably watching it with my family, and I just remember Tony Duggan scoring a penalty and sliding on her knees and stuff, and it was in all the papers the next day. But I just remember looking across and seeing everyone on the bench running onto the pitch after the game, so I'm hoping that we can have those similar sorts of scenes on Sunday.
Yeah, right, and a quick word on your good friends Chloe Kelly and Lauren Hemp. What a season they've both had, by the way. Obviously, we're wishing Chloe a speedy recovery too as she recovers from her ACL injury, but it must be amazing to go through the ranks with your mates.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course, we wish Chloe all the best. She's actually been really positive about it, which is amazing because it must be so hard and disappointing for her. As you said, they've both been absolutely incredible this season. Lauren can probably hear me from next door, so I better not gas her up too much. Yeah, I'll keep my voice down. But no, they've both been incredible, and we wouldn't have got as close as we can to catching Chelsea without both of their efforts. They're always crossing for the other one to score, and I know me and Chloe sort of look back because we've both been at Everton last year and sort of say this is what we came here for and stuff like that. And obviously I've known Lauren for so many years now. I'm so pleased she's doing so well.
Oh, love that, love that. And look, another legend. We've actually got Fara Williams on the show today. How would you describe her? And
I'm in big company.
Listen, no pressure, no pressure. But how would you describe her? She must have been a player that you looked up to growing up.
Yeah, I think the word legend probably gets bandied around quite a lot, but there's no other word to describe her really. Some of the things she's achieved in the game, most of us can only dream of. Like, for someone like me who's grown up watching her, it's really sad that she's retiring really because the game's losing such a good player, but I think she's achieved so much in a career that everyone can admire.
Love that. Esme, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So, Farah, terrible news for Chloe Kelly, obviously, ahead of the Olympics in the summer. What a season she's had, though.
Unbelievable season. I mean, between her and Lauren Hemp, I mean, take out Fran Kirby because she's been fantastic. In terms of wide players, I think they've been the best, probably in Europe. They've been delivering every week. So I'm absolutely gutted for her.
Yeah, and who else has impressed you this season?
I mentioned Lauren Hemp. I think Lauren Hemp's been unbelievable. Kirby and Kerr partnership has been really exciting. You know what? Izzy Christensen's done really well at Everton. The fullback for Man United, the Spanish kid, I think she's Spanish.
Yeah, on a battle?
Yes.
Yeah.
What a player.
What a player.
And Letitia, is it Letitia for Brighton? Yeah. What a player. And she's English.
Yeah.
Bright future.
Right, so that's Farah's thoughts. Let's take a look at the Barclays Player of the Year shortlist.
Towards the far post, there is the header and there is the third goal. And Sam Kerr has a hat-trick.
Fabulous effort from Chloe Kelly.
Oh, and Vivian Miedemar makes WSL history. Now the league's all-time top scorer.
Turner let that ball bounce and it falls to Fran Kirby. As a result, Kirby scores! She is in sensational form. Christensen hits it, rockets into the roof of the net for an equaliser. Superb.
Spin out to Mewis. Have to be careful with these challenges in the penalty area. That's lovely from Manchester City. Sam Mewis finishing off a sumptuous move.
Farah, out of those then, who gets your vote?
Fran Kirby had a fantastic season, and it's so good to see Fran back at her very best. I think even better than what she was before. You know, she's had a lot of injuries, illnesses, but to come back and deliver the sort of performances she has, hopefully she can deliver that in the Olympics this summer.
Yeah, right, and whilst we're on it, on the spot then, best player you've played with and against in your career?
Both sides, Kelly Smith.
Wow.
Wow. That's everyone's answer. Honestly.
Genius. She's just, you know what it is? I think what the difference is in sport, in football, is decision making. And she executes the perfect decisions at the right time in the right moments of football.
Big call. Stay tuned to see who comes out on top of that shortlist. Farah, thank you so much for your time and good luck on Sunday, and well done for everything you've achieved. We are so proud of you. Well, let's take a look at the table as things stand going into the final weekend. So it will all come down to the final day of the Barclays FA Women's Super League to see who is crowned champions and who goes down to the championship. You just can't call it. What a final day we have in store.
I mean, you really can't, but make sure that you tune in on Sunday, because I promise you it'll be nothing short of dramatic. And make sure you join us next week for another episode of the Barclays FA Women's Super League, The Warm-Up.